Good evening and welcome back to Underrail. Last we left off, we made it to Abyssal Station 0 and met Todd Howard trying to shill Skyrim to us. No, you... Oh, you little... Well, we're waiting for him to return now. But, hope everyone is doing well this evening. As soon as Todd decides to return, we will pick up with where we left off on convincing the families that he should open the gate for us. The reason why I'm not going out and chasing after him is, if I recall correctly, we basically get told to shut the hell up and let him do his thing. But, once we resolve this, we should be able to get into the R&D division. There you are. He's eating from his can. I'd like to speak to your parents and parents-in-law. Is that how it is? Is it parents-in-law and not parent-in-laws? Huh. I'd like to speak to your parents and parents-in-law again. He closes his eyes. Ah, welcome back, Mr. Outsider. Care for a drink? We have an old bottle of green coral, double distilled. Wonderful, mature spirit. You are most generous, Mr. Newman. He pours some invisible liquid into an invisible glass. Cheers. He then raises his imaginary glass, swirls the liquid that's not in it, sniffs its fictitious smell before taking a delightful sip of nothing. Pretend to drink, yes, very nice. After taking a sip of nothing himself, splendid. About Todd, though. Yes. Kelly. Yes, Mr. Outsider? I've seen your family portrait. It's real nice. The best one we ever did. And last. Isla, my mother, passed away just a few months prior to when it was taken, the last member from my side of the family. I miss her so much, especially at times like this. Tell me about her. Oh, she was a wonderful woman in the conditions in which we lived, but I wouldn't want to bore you. It's all in the past. Yes, yes. There was still a lot of people here, you know, back when we were young. But over the years, one by one, they passed away. She sighs. And few were being born to replace the dying. Yes, sadly, bad living conditions resulted in numerous health issues for us Lemurians over the years. It's too confined. The sub-islanders don't mind it. In fact, they prefer it. Lemurians took plenty of medications to maintain their health, but much of our capacity for manufacturing medicine was destroyed during the Disunion. Disunion didn't seem to have gotten in the way of good relationships between you and the sub-islanders? No. Most sub-islanders went outside during the Disunion, and the remaining ones continued living here with us. There was some tension in the succeeding years, naturally, but all was forgotten, yes. However, many lives were lost then, and much was destroyed. Your bloodline survived, you and your husbands, and now you have Todd. Angus has always been a great father to Todd. Great. We both are hardworking and dedicated. It may seem like, he's hard on Todd, but as I've told Stig and Asta many times, it's just how it comes across. Man's got a lot on his shoulders. You're lucky he still retained his sanity. His sanity, yes. She drifts off. Sadly, bad living conditions resulted in numerous health issues for... Oh, just repeated it again, okay. But the food production has thankfully survived. Food was never a problem, never, not even in the worst of times. We've always produced sufficiently, and throughout the years we've always had conscientious elementary technicians who made sure food quality was up to the highest standards. And that is something I'm proud to say as one myself, I've maintained to this day to the best of my abilities. Yeah, but you need more than quality food to maintain the health of the station. Sadly, bad living conditions resulted in... Yeah, you just repeated it again, okay. The Sub-Islanders prefer these conditions, but they were always fewer in numbers. There were a lot more Sub-Islanders before the Disunion, yes. There were, but now the Olivanders are the only ones left. Okay, so let's focus on the portrait. Yes, I was thinking... There was still a lot of people here, you know, back when we were young, but over the... Yeah, we just went back to that. Let's focus on the portrait. Yes, but I was thinking, this station has been through a lot. A great war, disunion, health issues, death. Death. The station has a sad past indeed. Yes, it all started with the Great War. The Great War. If it weren't for it, we'd all be running across the wonderful reed meadows my mother always talked about. Biocore, they destroyed everything. Speaking of which, that majestic reed field you chose as your background looks great. Ah, thank you. I chose that one. The last time, Angus picked something dull, static, minimalistic, uninteresting. While I wanted something visually stunning that captured the better, prosperous times of our history. The Eivinders did the same with their portrait, only their sub-islander culture is different. Eivinders, they are only friends here, and obviously in-laws. Nothing but the best about them. Especially the sweet, sweet Senna. I've yet to meet Senna. Todd and Senna always seemed like they were made for each other. They were so different, yet so alike. They had no one else but each other, sure. They are a perfect match. I still remember their wedding like it was yesterday. Sad we couldn't do a proper photographing session. We had to use surveillance camera. Yeah, they had no one else indeed, but they knew each other from birth, so they knew each other well. Oivinders, oh, you went back to that. Let's see. What if, just hypothetically, they didn't like each other? Well, they'd have to, learn to like each other. There's no choice. We'd help them. Our son needs our help. He's got so much to worry about, and he can't possibly make time for everything. That's why I'm here. And my, husband, of course, and our in-laws. You make sure he stays in a good environment, yeah? Todd spends most of his time in this dome. It's the safest and cleanest. As important as health is at any time, naturally, it's even more important when he has these problems. Which health problems? Sadly, it... Okay, went back to that. Let's move back to the beginning. Yes, we were talking about our portrait, weren't we? I think Oivinders and our family portraits are the only two left on display. There were still a lot of people here, you know. Yeah, we went over that already. Oh, here we go, a new one. Or, no. Jeez, she really doesn't want to talk about the portrait. Okay. One can tell by looking at Todd that you're feeding him well. Our son needs our help. He's got the, okay, wow. I guess we're going to be playing puzzle with the dialogue options for a bit. How old was she? 58. Sadly bad living, yep. This took away many people after the Disunion, didn't it? Yeah, it's just cycling through most of the same exact responses with very minor variations. The Binders were the only ones left, and you've known them your entire life, basically. I'm sure they are nice, but Todd, unfortunately... Todd's problems. At first, I thought it was Siniva, that, the problem was with her. But Stig convinced me that Todd was the one who had fertility issues. But isn't it, even without an expert's opinion, more likely that Todd is the one with the problem, looking back at the health of the Lemurians? Well, it's... but yes, you're right. True. But they didn't find this place. This really was the safest place in Lemuria. So, fertility. Alright, what if we say it's all on Todd? You get a lot of things on your mind. I do my best as a mother and a wife, and the only elementary technician. I have to think about everything, but my mother has always taught me that to be strong, you have to let it out. Let it out. So I have my boudoir, where I can go and weep. Yes, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It releases negative emotions. And it seems to have worked well for you. You look stunning in that portrait, if I may say so. You may. She smiles again. But we all look well, don't we? My husband doesn't like taking pictures, though, but he does his best. And all comes to being a parent. Yet, in that portrait, his only worry seems to have been trying to put on the best smile for the camera. Yes, 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 I love that. He was so charming. Were that Reed Meadow real? Although I don't know if I'd let him be out in a suit out there, or, His problems... I'm sure Senna is very supportive of him. After a slight pause, been through this. Surely your husband is also involved in family affairs? The Binders know you well enough. Senna looked wonderful in their portrait, though. I'm sure she's grown up into a beautiful woman. Todd is one lucky guy. Yes, the two of them. Just after that portrait had been taken, yes, they disappeared. Both of them. We couldn't find them at all. I was mortified. Mortified. We searched the entire station, and Angus heard them giggling in some utility space behind one of the wall panels. They were happy. I don't think I ever saw him happier. So the happiest he's ever been is when he ran away to a dark, dirty wall section with Seneva. Her voice dropped slightly in pitch, losing some of the hoarseness along the way. Father beat me really hard when he found us. Angus disciplined him, but as I've said, yes, Todd was happy. Or maybe he does need some. I want only what's best for him. We're watching his every move, when in fact maybe... Yes, wonderful portrait. She falls silent. Stig. How may I help you? You could start by releasing Infusion or Underrail 2 soon, please. I've seen some of Todd's medical records. He's got low testosterone levels. Could that be due to stress? Yes, among other things. Stress affects testosterone levels negatively, which then results in impotence. This is why we need to keep it at a minimum through exercise while keeping him in an environment in which he can feel as safe as possible. You ask that Todd opens the R&D dome gate for you. That, in and of itself, will be stressful for anyone in as delicate condition as he is, as mundane an action as it may seem. Keeping him in one dome is going to be more stressful in the long run. Having a new, unknown space before him, one that has been described as dangerous to him repeatedly, is bound to cause him a lot of stress. The known is rarely scarier than the unknown. Also, he'll feel pressured not to make a mistake, even if it's such a simple thing. I know how implants work. I'll make sure he does it just fine. Let's say it all goes well, but what if later on he opens the gate and goes there alone and something bad happens to him, or something happens to him? You shouldn't live in constant fear of everything. What if something in fact does go wrong when the gate opens? Something that's an actual threat? I'll take care of it and he'll see everything can be overcome. I understand. He pauses. I think I now understand what you mean. It's not his low testosterone that makes him less of a man. It's not being a man that keeps his It's not being a man that keeps his testosterone low. Yes, yes. Native Lemurians, how different they are. I've grown distant to Todd after years of him and Senna not being able to make a child. His problems prevented it. And I've worked for years to improve his health with the means I had. His voice raises in pitch and exhibits more emotion. I felt like another patient. He shakes his head, reverting to his previous self. Yes, we've grown distant. Asta and I and him. Moreover, I believe he no longer has any kind of relationship with my wife. Very well. Todd needs more independence in space. This, combined with moderate physical activity, should improve his health, mental and otherwise. Can you let Todd unlock the gate to R&D for me? I suppose we can trust him to unlock it, but what if... well, alright, it can't be that bad. You've convinced me of freedom of movement and action would benefit his health, and my husband convinced me. What you see in Todd's face seems to represent everyone looking at each other, and one by one they begin to nod, and then... Yes, you have our permission to take the boy to the gate. But remember what we talked about, Mr. Outsider. I'll do so right away. Actually, before I go... Okay. Pleasure, farewell. Need you to unlock the gate to R&D dome for me. Research? No, I can't go there. Wow. Dirty kick and then strength. Just, no, you're coming with me now. Okay. I talked to your parents. They allow it. They do? Yes, they do. Follow me. Todd brings his right hand near the gate control screen. The red light turns green, and the gate opens. He pauses. Alright, I'm hoping it's not coming through the mic, but the stray cats are at it again. So if you hear any sounds, I apologize. He pauses, almost as if he wishes to turn away and leave, but he instead speaks with a new voice, not too dissimilar to his usual tenor. Todd? He looks around. Senna? Seneva? Can you hear me, Todd? Yes, I'm helping Mr. Outsider. Are you... And you, are you feeling well? How's our baby boy doing? Todd? What's the matter, Senna? How's our boy? Don't you know what I'm talking about? It took us so long, Senna, but we finally did it. You gave me a boy. Her eyes fill with tears. Todd, I'm dead. Frey is dead. We did not survive the birth. My parents, your parents, everyone. Don't know whose teary eyes you're staring into, but after a while, it doesn't seem to matter. You were waiting for me, to make you happy, Senna, for so long. You can't be. He wipes his tears away. You are, and I'm alone. He gives you a sad and unmistakably more mature look. Then he turns around and jogs away. Well, we'll give him a minute, but I think we can help him out after the fact. Well, you know what? I say that. Let's, are you over in your usual place? Oh, you're not. Oh, you are. Okay, no, he's not accepting input at this moment. But let's head into R&D. What's the worst that could happen? Ooh. No power. Excellent material for fireproof clothing, as basalt fibers are highly resistant to... Rebar made from these fibers have a much higher strength-to-weight ratio and corrosion resistance. Wool for insulation, filtration, a hydroponic growth medium. Transparent metallic glass, a microalloy composed of... It's basically a whole bunch of random material dialogue. Oh, working gate control. Now, if we were going to make stuff out of this, these are relatively good quality. It's stuck. Okay. Symbiotic environment combining conventional aquaculture with hydroponics, making the aquaponics. Fish, crustaceans, mollusk, hydrozoan colonies. Biofilters where nitrification bacteria can convert ammonia into nitrates for plant. So more nerdisms. Stuck again. It's weird that it says stuck, though. Ooh, pretty nice. I'll take them. A actually, can I do that with this? Nope. Biohazard suit. This whole body garment protects you from most conventional and unconventional hazards. 100% bioresistance with a 50% acid resistance. Actually terrible for normal use though, but we might take it for the novelty. Ooh, that's a few hundred years old. Great. Stuck. Weird symbol. A weird but oddly familiar symbol written in red on a piece of electronic paper. Worth 1 oddity point. Don't mind if I do. Speaking of, we are 60 out of 64. We are almost at a new level. And that will be level 29. Medsith canisters in the manufacturing dome. Demand for drugs for treating various disorders in the native population, both mental and physical, due to inadaptability to living conditions. Not for the sub-islander population, that is for us. Makes synthesis highly complicated due to tensions between... So yeah, various little details that are just further supporting the information we've received thus far. I will gladly take the free grenades. Oh, it's closed. And that looks like hard progress. Special lab, general lab, okay. Yeah, let's come over here. Sacrifice of human flesh and bone, okay. Cut into pieces and arranged according to instructions while the liver is dipped into the solution. Blood collected in a bowl mixed with shadow dust and sprinkled across. Ignite the crystal incense to cast shadow light upon. Should all gather around as the outside lights dim and change. Gateway from which serpentine, just as he has expunged the invading submarine, tons and tons of sooted slime in its place, darkening. Bring a fragment of that which gave us wisdom. Lord Samir's power, infinite. So, if there was a doubt, to any degree up until this point, where the Serpentborn came from, it's here. They were the sub-islanders. They were the ones that came from Atlantis. Between R&D and the remaining submarines and subspheres, no access to food processing dome. Through Residential 1, the time has come for my siblings who sadly couldn't see the truth. Yeah, so we're literally looking at their, like, their MO, all of their documents right now. And at some point, they became what you see now. Hacking, and that will require a change in outfit. I do wonder, is that perhaps that thing that was where the Oyen Psalm was? To merely call the monolith dark would not be accurate. Its blackness is not merely the lack of reflected light, but emptiness in every way. Its space is not vacant or filled with a dark substance, but rather it feels as though there is not even any space there. It is more like a tear in space-time, or perhaps a tear in reality itself, revealing the nothingness beyond. At the same time, the monolith does appear as if it has some sort of existence itself, and its existence seems clearer and more fundamental than that of everything else around it. One of its corners seems to have been cut off, giving you a glimpse inside the monolith, a sight of endless expanses populated by dimmed purple, bluish, and reddish light, sparsely lit by bright white particles, all swirling endlessly without aim in fine purple mist through the black void. Leave it be for the moment. Which I just saved, but... Reach out and touch the monolith. It feels smooth to the touch. It's neither cold nor warm. Touch the place where the monolith was cut. You scramble up the slippery monolith until you can just about reach the cut part. Then you slowly insert your fingers inside, but immediately withdraw them due to searing pain. You slide down in panic and inspect your hand. The very tips of your fingertips appear as if they were cut off with surgical precision. Did that do anything? Oh yeah, it gave me 15 mechanical damage, so we're actually regenning that now. Reach out for the monolith with your mind. You focus your mind on the monolith, and the experience is unlike anything you've known before. All the thoughts you direct towards the monolith are swallowed by its darkness, and you are left dazed, confused, and with a irrational sense of dread. But, you know, there's something we did with this before, right? And it helps if we actually hit. Oh, we can't actually see it at the moment. So we will pop the juice. And now that we have second sight, this came out of it to attack us. Ain't that neat? But you know what's even neater? Not letting it or anything that's here exist longer than they deserve to. I did not want to move, but okay. And now the Shadowlith is destroyed, and our second unit of Shadow Dust is now ours for 3 oddity points. So, if you did not get the Eternal Torch, and you did not have the proper style, actually, without the Eternal Torch, I don't think you can destroy this. But you can fight the Void creature if you have, like, Thought Control or something. But other than that, this can't be dealt with. And why that's noteworthy... Liquid crystal slime. When motionless, the liquid is viscous and sticks to the walls of the container. Its sparkling reflection, richly colored, but when shaken, the liquid breaks up and turns into matte, dry lumps. It remains so for a few moments, then it resettles and reliquefies, and that is a level. But the reason why that's noteworthy is something we'll get to in a second, since, am I doing this wrong? Oh, here we go. Turn the power on, duh. I'll get on that in a second. Take the Psi Booster, neural interface. Like a head scanner, maybe a projector of some kind. Ooh. This cumbersome and clunky construction of this psionic headband suggests it's an experimental model. It seems the designers were looking to enhance non-lethal psionic techniques. One additional psi slot. Psi skills up by 25. Psi regeneration increased by 3. Non-damaging psi abilities. Psi cost reduced by 30%. That's actually pretty good. Ooh, but the other penalties are dirty. We'll still take it though. MEG tracings, magnetoencephalogram of a certain R. Jansen's brain activity during high frequency, 41.5 Hertz, shadow wave exposure as printed at the bottom. Doesn't look healthy one bit, worth 2 oddity points. Organ tanks contain grossly oversized hearts with electrodes attached to them. Super hypo. Bunch of other goods. Bunch of terrible human experimentation. Neo-reptilian brain. Here we go. Ooh, now look at all that. We don't actually need any of it. I will, however, take decent components. Cut burn marks that rise from the neck and spiral up to the top of the head. They emit a faint purple glow. Well, I think we know what did the damage. You know what? We can come back for this. It's a bit heavy. There it is, the acorn. Notice how it explicitly says Acorn Abyssal Station 0. Acorn is written on its top face, just below a white symbol most resembling a diagonally placed egg, whose upper half is enclosed by a semicircle with a bent stalk at the very top. It appears to be a container of some kind, one that seems to open horizontally in the middle. You are, however, unable to find the means by which to do so. There are no handles, no locks, no buttons, touchscreens, or visible sensors. Additionally, the robust casing easily discourages brute force, at least by more conventional means. Whatever is inside, it is likely invaluable. You found the acorn, but not a way to open or use it. You can hand it over to someone who perhaps can, or you could keep it for yourself. So, if you actually don't do anything with this, activate the power and come here and grab the acorn, the moment you grab it, that activates. Why? I don't know. Why was the acorn that important? I don't know. But that's what happens. And if you do not have the means to engage with it properly, you would have to leave, and then various gates would have closed. There would have been symbols along the walls and such, and each symbol would act as another spawn point for the void creatures. I don't believe they spawn past the R&D division, however. But yeah, that is basically the end of Abyssal Station 0. The only thing that really remains at this point is leaving, and maybe Todd. Maybe Todd. But, level 29. So, I almost feel like that's just fine. It's not quite enough for everything, but if we were in our workshop and or using the gear that buffs it, we would have a pretty substantial biology council. We could probably make most, if not everything, that we could do for medicine. Nothing for feats. We have to wait till level 30. Specialization. We have maxed out the Blitz, Expertise, Duration of Exposed Weakness, and the bonuses from Psychotemporal Acceleration. We really don't have too much we can... I might pump into Vile Weaponry, but we'll see. Opportunist is situational. Yeah. I think I will just pump into the additional damage. Because most of our endurance fights are done, so giving Blitz a shorter cooldown wouldn't matter too much anymore. As you can see, we are 5 of the 64 to level 30. Unfortunately, the various gate controls that were dead are still dead, and can't be, interacted with. But it is what it is, yeah. Are you still over here, my dude? No? A pair of eyes stare at you, tinted with fearful determination. Mr. Outsider, are you sure you want to do this? He nods silently. Welcome aboard. He nods with a slight smile. Don't be afraid. Time to surface. So, main controls, surface. We're moving. Why does no questions? So, in regards to Todd, you can be a complete ass. You could have killed him and just, like hell, you didn't have to kill him. You could just drag him over there and do the thing without bothering with all of that. There should be a beacon here, but everything's dark. There's a lot of dust particles in the water, though. But ultimately, the best way to deal with that, in my opinion, is to work through his trauma. And in doing that, you bring him back up. And now we're back here. And there's one final way to resolve things with him. Oh, is he staying in here? I mean, it makes sense. Is this the surface? It is now about you. Me? This world is dangerous and will swallow you in seconds. You can't take care of yourself, but I can't take care of you either due to my nature of my life. I'll find someone who will, though. You stay here, and I'll be back as soon as I find you a new home. He smiles. Thank you, Mr. Outsider. I'll stay here. I'll be good. I won't touch anything. Good. See ya. Now, there are a number of ways you can resolve that, but my preferred one... Where are you now? Muty Refuge. Thanks, over. So we're going to see if we can't catch the ferryman. We'll be back in just a moment. And welcome back. Welcome back, kid. You ever seen anything like this? Show him the acorn. He gazes at it ponderously, then looks at you. Oh. No, I haven't. With growing discomfort, he continues after a brief pause. What is it? All I know is that it's somehow connected to certain high-tech machines capable of traversing great distances, even reaching the surface. He shakes his head. Why did you bring this box to me? I was curious if you knew something. This thing you carry, if it really is what you say it is, there's got to be a damn good reason why it was buried in whatever depths you found it. I want nothing to do with the kid. And if you remembered our conversation, you know I think it'd be best if you chucked that thing back into the sea. Takes a long draw, his eyes still fixated on you. before exhaling a thick cloud of smoke. It then sighs. Found the last living Lemurian. His eyes broaden. Lemurian? From an abyssal station at the bottom of the sea. The submarine. Yeah, he's in that very submarine. I was wondering if you'd take him with you. He's a grown man, somewhat underdeveloped mentally, but I think he's ready for a new life. Last Lemurian. He puffs smoke high up, his gaze clinging to the stalactites above before dropping it down. Why me, kid? Let's see. A wise man once told me you can help yourself by helping someone else with their burden. He ponders, the smoke from his pipe clinging to his beard and hair, as though his head is overheating, courtesy of an air current blowing in his face. After a while, he responds, "Fine, kid, fine. My heart ain't made of stone. I'll take him in. Besides, I've spent years in this sea searching for relics, and now come forth with a living one. A living, breathing human being." Where's the submarine? Is it where I left it? He pulls from his pocket and unfolds an old stained map of the Black Sea. Yes, right there. Show him where it's located. He marks it on the map and he folds it back. I'll pick him up as soon as I'm finished here. Just tell him Mr. Outsider sent you. Anything else before I leave, kid? No, I'm good. See you, kid. So, depending on what you have done in the Black Sea, if you allied with the pirates, the captain would actually take him in. If you opted to go that route, you could bring him to Professor, but that doesn't seem like a great idea either to me. And I think there's a few other options, but just ain't all about, you know... I feel like the ferryman is one of the best options for that particular resolution. So, for all intents and purposes, the only real thing left to do now in the Black Sea is report to the professor and figure out what to do with the acorn. Now, you can 100% lie, say that the acorn was not found, and leave it at that. There's actually a few reasons to contemplate such a stance. But, you know what, considering this is about the tail end, this might take a bit, we'll call it here. But, for all intents and purposes, we are done with the expedition. All we're doing next is taking the loose ends and tying them up nicely. There is still exploration to be done over here in what is called the Fetid Marsh. Considering we've done the story and done most of the exploration, I think I'll leave that for off-screen for me. And people who have somehow been convinced to pick up the game can find out what the Fetid Marsh is like themselves. Say what you want of it. That's what I'm going for that. But for the time being, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. We will pick up next time with the last tidbits regarding the acorn and the Black Sea. And then we'll get back to the game proper. Until then, though, take care of yourselves and have a wonderful evening. And I'll see you next time on Underrail.